La Palma is the volcanically most active island in the entire archipelago. It's the period of island growth where eruptions are quite frequent. And I would be very, very surprised if there's no more eruptions here on the island.
Undoubtedly, if we look at this volcano, at how it's evolved over millions of years, it's likely that in the future it will erupt again, and it's just as likely that there will be another landslide.
But if scientists believe another eruption will happen, where could a mega landslide take place? To the south of the island is a massive mountain. Some scientists believe it's vulnerable to a collapse that would unleash an apocalyptic tsunami. And it faces directly at the USA. The Atlantic island of La Palma is a peaceful tourist paradise. But X-raying the Earth has revealed that it sits on top of a huge store of molten rock, which scientists believe will erupt again, with the potential to trigger a landslide and tsunami headed straight for the USA. Central La Palma has already been wiped out by an apocalyptic landslide. But there's another region of the island that has some scientists seriously concerned. Southern La Palma is dominated by a massive mountain. This is the Cumbre Vieja, or Old Ridge. It's 12 miles long and soars over a mile above sea level. Billions of tons of rock are piled in dangerously steep slopes. And it faces directly at the United States.
Geologists are very concerned about the Cumbre Vieja region because it's very steep. Any edifice that is over about 30 degrees in slope angle is inherently unstable. Portions of the Cumbre Vieja ridge are well above 30 degrees in their steepness.
Geologist Valentin Troll heads for these remote highlands. He wants to know if Cumbre Vieja could collapse. And he soon finds evidence of an explosive history.
This is Hoyo Negro crater, the site of the 1949 eruption. And this was the most explosive vent of that eruption.
A volcanic eruption here in 1949 punched a 500-foot deep crater in the side of Cumbre Vieja. Valentin treks further along the ridge. Up ahead he sees a second massive eruption site. The two craters prove magma has been punching upwards through the Cumbre Vieja. Restless magma triggers landslides. Just how restless is this mountain? To find out, we must X-ray the Earth. Deep beneath the surface, lava rock evidence reveals the traces of not 2, but 6 volcanic eruptions. The Cumbre Vieja isn't a mountain at all. The whole ridge is a single massive volcano. For now, the Cumbre Vieja volcano appears to be quiet. But in 2017 and 2018, 2 flurries of hundreds of small earthquakes were detected, called seismic swarms. They took place underneath the Cumbre Vieja.
This hints at magma movement underneath the island. So there is magma there, and sooner or later some of this magma might come up and form another eruption.
At Anak Krakatau and at Mount St Helens, rising magma caused the volcanoes to crack open and collapse in giant landslides. At Cumbre Vieja, restless magma could trigger the same catastrophe. It's a chilling vision of the future, But for some scientists, it has already started. In the deep undergrowth of the Cumbre Vieja, Valentin Troll finds a wide scar in the landscape.
This is the fracture that opened up in 1949 during the eruption. This open fracture here is separating the rocks on my right, which are, in this case, about 1.5 to 2 meters higher relative to the rocks on my left, meaning that there was an opening of a fracture and a downwards move on this side.
The fracture can be traced for 2 miles along the Cumbre Vieja. It could be the first glimpse of a massive future collapse towards the Atlantic. But scientists disagree about how deep the scar may go.
Some people argue this is just a surface expression of the magma that supplied the 1949 eruption. Others, however, argue that this translates into a major fault zone at depth, a fault line that runs deep into the island. If this was a fault line, then this could in theory be a slip line along which the western part of the island could be moving.
If moving magma shook the Cumbre Vieja and the volcano cracked along the fracture line, a landslide could see the entire slope crash into the sea.
The worst case scenario landslide here at La Palma could be over 100 cubic miles of rock slamming into the ocean.
The Cumbre Vieja points directly at the east coast of the United States. There's nothing between them but the Atlantic Ocean. If the volcano collapsed, could the tsunami really hit the US over 3,000 miles away?